Amazing. That's okay.
That's all right.
These technology, I always say it's reliably unreliable. You know, it's like there when you need it, and then somehow not at the same time. But that's okay. If it doesn't work, it's not too much of a problem. So, thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise. It's lovely to have you. And don't they look lovely this morning? Gorgeous.
Thank you.
It would be super great to just go down, first of all, and hear your name and a short bit about you. And one song that's been on rotation for you recently. One song, just keeping it random, you know, I like to keep you on your toes a little bit. What's the song that's been uplifting you recently?
Oh, great. Well, I was listening to it today. I'm trying to just remember the name of it now. So, hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Watson. I'm a multi-award winning speaker, author, and a mentor. I help people to write books and also to speak confidently. I like the fact that we've been speaking about confidently. So speak confidently, do storytelling, but also share their expertise, whether it be writing a book or on stage. And one of the songs that's been really playing in my mind, oh God, what is it called again? Hallelujah, yeah. That's it. Let the sound of rejoicing fill this mouth. That's been my song this week. That's it. Nathaniel Bassey. That's it. That's it. That's been my song. Thank you.
Go ahead, Olivia.
Yeah, good afternoon, lovely ladies. I feel very honored to be here to speak with you and share from my experience and my profession. My name is Olayinka Cole, and I'm a financial advisor. My specialty is mortgages and protection. So I help people get the keys to their first home, even if they thought they couldn't get their house or key. And secondly, I start with your financial foundations, because you know how you have a building. If the foundation is not solid, what will happen to the building?
Oh, wow.
It's going to come down.
Oh, wow.
So I help with your mortgage and also your protection. And I've helped loads of clients, ranging from people that are new in the country, skilled workers. In fact, they in particular are always shocked. A lot of people get shocked at how was I able to get them a mortgage when people have been here 10, 15 years. So I have access to a whole range of providers and banks. So I would say each bank has its own criteria. So there's a solution for everyone. And I work towards your needs, your lifestyle, your background, your circumstances. So it's not a one size fits all. So I'm a very holistic financial advisor.
It's good.
Thank you.
And yeah, what song has been playing? Well, what I keep, whenever I'm doing my work in front of the laptop, I have like 3 screens. Another one has YouTube on, and I'm always listening to this lady, Sissy Winans, Holy Holy.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, so uplifting.
Yeah, nice,
Thank
nice.
you.
We need to start a playlist then.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi everyone, I'm Shantaya, and I'm a transformational speaker actually. I focus on speaking about our identity, how we've grown up with labels, but I like to speak about how we can grow past the labels that we've grown up with, that limit us in life. So that's what I focus on.
Nice.
A song that's been in my mind, on repeat, has been a song called Blessed.
Blessed.
There's
another one.
Sorry, I can't remember the artist, but it's a song. It's just about the song "Blessed." It just reminds you for each and every season to give God thanks. And remember that it's always something to be grateful for.
Beautiful. Thank
Great.
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's around the floor. Such great. I mean, just in the intro, gems have been dropped already. I'm so excited for this conversation. So my first question is for you, Michelle, and the question is, what role does upbringing or culture play in how women view money in their adulthood?
Oh wow, that's a powerful question, and in fact, it's not just a question; it's a statement, because it's true. Like if we think about blueprints, just as you rightly said, like labels and things that we are attached to, we grow up with these blueprints and not necessarily recognizing how they've impacted and affected us. For instance, hearing the thing, money is evil, or the root of money is evil, but that's not what the Bible actually says. And so if you don't get out there and get the right context of the word, you will go around thinking that rich people are evil or people that have money are evil, when the Bible actually says the love of money is evil. And if we're always thinking that we have to work hard, and don't get me wrong, I believe in working hard. You'll hear my story later. But there's an element of working smart as well. So if you're thinking all the while that I have to work hard to get money, you miss out on the areas where actually it's smart as well. It's making smart decisions. And so I believe that it's a foundation, just like you rightly said. I was saying, ooh, because I'm actually speaking somewhere again later, and I've actually put that statement in there about the foundation, and if the foundation is not set. So we have to remember that those blueprints, they're a part of our foundation of what's built us up, what we've heard repeatedly, what we have seen. And to be honest, when we think about our youth, for many of us, we didn't have parents that sat us down and showed us how to budget and showed us the bills. We were just constantly heard, oh, there's no money, or there's this. So we weren't able to really learn the mistakes or the lessons that we could now apply in our current life. And that's why my daughter, she goes to events with me, she takes notes, she asks me questions. We go through that budget list, because yes, you need to understand that everything is not just a handout. There's a coming in, but there's also a going out. If you don't package that, what you have correctly, yeah, you can lose it all.
Amazing. That's so true. And I saw, actually, I'm in a community with Hayley Melenda, who
Yes.
we had a workshop the other day, and it was a financial guru. And she said, if you notice that people switch up once they get money, that's who they always were, but were too cowardly to be.
100%.
So it's nothing to do with money making someone different. It's money revealing what was already inside you, right? So it's that true thing of rich people and poor people is all the same character. All money does is show you actually, now that you have access, who will you choose to be? And so you're so right. The money is not the root of evil. That's not even the scripture. So thank you so much. And Oli, I'd love to come to you next as well and ask you what advice you would give to women who want to build a secure and empowered financial future. So they've come from their upbringing, but they want to propel forwards.
Yes, I said, let me just write down some key things.
I love that the paper matches your outfit.
Branded.
So my advice is simple but powerful. I always say stop delaying your financial decisions. So many women are always waiting to start, waiting to earn more, waiting for the right moment. There's no, the right moment is now. That's the future. Everything is about the present moment. But the truth for me is that confidence is not something you wait for. It's something that gets built. Every little action you take, you get more confidence. And I see in nursery schools or primary schools, when there are a lot of children, they don't feel confident, but then teachers start to encourage them, okay, just do this, just do that, and you see their confidence build. So we have to work on ourselves to be more confident. It's not something you can buy. It's a quality. And just take little steps, no matter how little. I always tell a lot of my clients when they come and sit down with me during the advice process, the mere fact, in fact, I'll use all of you as an example. The mere fact that you all made that effort to come from your homes to sit down here, you're already a step ahead. Even if it's just 0.001%, you are still better ahead than where you were before.
100%.
So it's through asking questions, learning, reading, you become more financially confident. And for me, every decision you make today is a vote for the life you want tomorrow. And most importantly, take ownership. Because even if you are married or you have a partner, know your numbers, understand your plans, be actively involved in everything. I was going to say that, just like you rightly said about budgeting and savings, that's the foundation to everything else. Then protection, then investment. In terms of savings and budgeting, over the years, women have been more in the role of being the financial, decisioner or breadwinner in the making household financial decisions, and it's been left. So I think women should take more control of what they're doing. That way, you have more control. You're more involved in everything. And I see with a lot of my meetings, when I have couples, people always assume, yes, especially in our African background, the man is the head of the family. Yes, rightly so. But I always say it like this: this is the head. What carries the head? The neck. Who's the woman? So you as women, you are the ones carrying the head.
100.
And a lot of women, when they speak to me personally, it's like so many women are going through much stuff, and people always assume, oh, it's the man that brings the money in. Many times I've seen it's the woman, especially my meetings in the last 4 or 5 years with couples, is the woman that's the breadwinner. But obviously, you don't go out to say that, oh, I'm earning more than my husband, or if the husband might be earning more, but is the woman actually paying for so many things? So I feel we should take more control of our decisions. Decide now. Don't wait for tomorrow. There's no time for tomorrow. And more importantly, you get more choices. With more choices, you have more freedom. And yes, please remind me of the question. Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm answering.
I was listening so intently. What advice would you give to women who want to build a secure and empowered financial future, speaking of confidence building?
Okay, I think money is very important, but it's not just about the money you earn. Is how do you protect the money
you have? Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Someone can be earning £100,000 a month, but if your expenses are £99,000, you're not financially secure. Someone, I've seen clients who earn £20,000, okay, let's say £2,000 a month, and they're able to save £300 every month. You're more financially secure than that person. So it's about what money is coming in, what money is going out, and you need to protect your income. Your income and you are the greatest assets. When I ask people questions, my clients question, what's your greatest assets? Some people tell me, oh, their cars, their properties, their business. I say, no, it's you and your continued ability to earn an income. Firstly, your health, and you, because I'll use myself as an example. If I wake up in the morning, I want to go to work, and I have headache or headache, I can't even go to the kitchen to make a cup of tea. So if I can't go to work, how is my money coming? So you need to secure your income, and a lot of people put different protection plans in place, but I say income protection is a financial bedrock to everything else, because with that you pay your bills, your utility bills, your rent, if you have a mortgage, your mortgage, all your expenses, because money is very important. As both of you rightly said, money is not the root of all evil. It's just a tool, like so many other things are a tool. It's for us to use while we're on earth. And the money is, first of all, it's a form of energy. That's what I believe in. It starts with energy, and you have to be very careful your relationship with that money. So it's all about having also a mindset change. So money is a tool, is a currency in your hand, and is a figure in your bank account. And the most important thing, just to round up on the question, is you need to secure your financial future by putting a proper income protection plan in place, so that in the event of unforeseen circumstances, because we live in a world of uncertainties, and it's making sure you still have money coming in, so that if you fall ill or you have an accident, at least you're only worrying about getting yourself better. You're not worrying, how do I meet all my expenses? So start with that. That's the financial bedrock to everything else, your income protection.
I hope everybody was taking notes, because I certainly am. Just very quickly, what would you say then is the best way to go about that income protection? Is it going into your bank? Is it taking out a policy? Because I've got no idea.
The best way is to come to speak with me.
Of course.
And then she'll tell you, I like that.
I like
giving
it.
you the
so
what,
you're
not
going to
the
have
how.
a queue of people afterwards. I think
welcome
everyone
that,
is. Amazing. Thank you so much. So interesting. And then for Shantaya, speaking on then, women have had this upbringing, they're trying to, get more confident and put in those protections to make sure they're earning well. What do you think it is, though, that makes many women still feel less confident when it comes to managing money?
What I personally believe a lot of times, for myself, was a big one, is believing that I'm worthy of even getting these opportunities come to me. Like, I like something that you mentioned is when you grow up, sometimes we don't learn about how the struggle. We don't learn about how the struggle actually happens. We hear about it at home, like, oh, we don't have money today, or we hear that this week we can't do certain things, but we never understand what actually led up to these financial problems. And
so true.
that affects our confidence. And when we then get told, okay, let's start working on saving our money, let's start working on building financial freedom, let's start working on building a financial income where you can protect it as well, it's that lack of knowledge behind it. I feel like that also breaks our confidence down. We hear the thing and we're like, oh, yeah, this sounds possible, but is it possible for me? It is possible for us, actually.
Yes, it definitely is.
And it's something that you mentioned as well that I like, is that the confidence part, it comes along the way. It's not something that you get in the beginning. So taking that first step is the first step into getting confident. It's the first step into believing it's possible for you. And yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you're so right. Absolutely. It is that there's kind of a running theme of that 1% better every day, you know, and I think it was in Atomic Habits where they talk about that 1% better, but also Monzo do like a 1p challenge, and you save 1p more every day, you end up with like 600 quid at the end of the year, and it kind of doesn't make sense, but you're like, yeah, it's small incremental changes that you can make that 100%. Grow you into that vote for that person you want to be tomorrow, right? Absolutely. So Michelle, coming back to you now, I'd love to know, once women have started, you know, earning the money and they're putting the protections in place, what are some of the biggest mistakes then that we make when it comes to managing our money well, and how can we avoid them?
Some of the big mistakes that we make is we get comfortable, and what a common one, let's say you're working part-time, and I know you would have seen this a lot, working part-time and you've made things work. Then you start earning twice as much, right? But then you change your lifestyle to now fit that twice as much. The lifestyle was okay before. You didn't have to change that lifestyle. And so before you know it, you're thinking, how is it that I'm now working a job that is paying me twice more than the one I had before, but I'm still struggling? And so it's very important, because I believe that as we're growing and as we're building, we need to also grow and build our knowledge. And I think that gets left a lot, like our own growth on our mindset, because the mindset that you were navigating £10 with, you may have to change that to navigate £20, right? Because the mindset wasn't right, because now you're thinking, now I have to save, but now I also have to have the mindset of reinvesting, right? And so if we do like that one in the Bible that went away and just buried the talent, right, how do you then multiply that? And so working on your mind is crucial, paying attention to how you are navigating now the more money. Why can you not? How can you step back and say, okay, instead of seeing this as more money to spend, can this be actually more money to save and invest? How do I capitalize on this? One of the things that I always say to my children is, if you're constantly pouring from a jug, but then you're not refilling it, don't think of going back to that jug at some point and it still be full. So it's about really getting the knowledge of, okay, now I'm making £1,000. I used to make 500. Where can I now go and get the mentors, get the financial advisors that can advise me on how to now manage that extra 500, right? And so I believe that knowledge is key. Your circle of influence is also key, because let's be real, if you're around a circle of influence that they're either limited thinkers or they're just spenders looking to have a good time, you're ending up living a lifestyle that you may not have wanted to go in the direction of with your finances. And it can happen so easily. It happened with me when I was younger. I was doing things I had no interest in. And then I realized I was just doing it because I wanted to be a part of the circle. And you look and you're looking at your account, you're like, 365 days of the year. And the year has ended and I don't have 365 pounds. So you're telling me I don't even have a value of £1 a day.
Wow.
Like, we have to actually look at these things. Look at these things like, how am I valuing myself? How am I valuing my time? How am I valuing my knowledge? Because this is how we will see people. They will win the lottery. And then you see them again and they've lost it all. Because they've got the money and they think, yeah, that's it. It's all sorted. But it didn't take a time back to say, you know what? I was in this position because I didn't have the knowledge in the first place. Now I have the money. Let part of that money pay into investing in you. It's so important.
Whew. So true. I had this thing where it was like, if you can count 5 fools around you, you counted incorrectly. There's 6, because it's you yourself in there amongst 5 fools. Why wouldn't you be? You know. Yeah. And so it's so true that mindset is so shaped by who you're around, and that's so. Yes.
I forgot one important thing.
Oh, please.
God.
Oh,
God.
Of course.
I always say, yeah, we say the PhDs, we say this. There's a God that's missing. Let's remember that. Like, remember him at the forefront of everything, because he's the one that gave you the capacity to make that money. Trust him that he will be able to direct you on how to manage it. So look to him for answers.
Yeah, you can come up again if you want to. That was absolutely necessary, essential, 100%. Thank you so much. And Olieka, I'm coming back to you. What key financial tools then should every single woman have in place? Because you mentioned about that income protection. Is there anything else that you recommend?
So I would say the 3 financial tools are first. For me, I start with the groundwork. You know how you have tree, you have roots, so it's your foundation. The first thing is savings and budgeting, and I'll go through that. The second is protection. And then the third is investing. And I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So, regardless of where you are in life, whether you're single, married, divorced, or widowed, or just me, myself, and I, budgeting is not restriction, it's direction. So no matter how we are as a woman, whether you're single, married, divorced, because we come in all categories, it's knowing what's coming in and what's going out, and making sure your money is aligned with the life you are building. And not everyone else's needs should be catered for. You should cater for your needs first, because as I said before, if you don't work, it has an after effect on everything else. And savings isn't just money, it's peace of mind, because it gives you a breathing space so that when life happens, your options change, and confidence to make decisions. You make confidence without fear. Sorry, make decisions without fear. And like you rightly, I think one of you said, it's about starting small and then you grow big. And then the next one is, as I said before, is protection. We all want to continue to live a life of significance, but no one knows tomorrow. And it's making sure that if anything should happen to you now or in the future, you are fully protected. And you can do that with different financial plans, putting different financial plans in place. And as I said, income protection is one of the most important, because if you think of it, we all have income coming in, and I'm sure, my assumption is your outgoings are a lot more than your income. Your income is like maybe your salary, which comes in once a month, but you have so many direct debits almost on a weekly basis coming out. So what income protection does is really gives you peace of mind, because it's the most important, because with that you're able to pay all your other expenses. So that's why I said it's the foundation to everything else, having a proper financial plan in place. And then in terms of investments, I know a lot of women get hesitant when it comes to that sector, but it's all about your money growing and not just sitting in one bank account. And there are different ways of investing. I'm not going to go into all those details now. But yeah, it's making sure that even if you're sleeping, at least your money is growing in one form or another. And investment doesn't just have to be through bank accounts. It comes in different forms, but just do something else so that, you know, you're building something as well. Yeah, so I would say the three main keys, financial keys, are budgeting and savings, protection, and then different forms of investment. And what I would like to add also is a lot of women, our career path is totally different from men. Many women, is either they start working later because of children, or they take career breaks, or they work part-time, they don't work full-time, or they're taking care of elderly, or they have maybe a special needs child. So you know what I've come to realize as a financial advisor, when it comes to the pension pot, guess what? It's so much smaller because they've not been working for many years. So men actually have such a bigger pension pot by the time they get close to the age of 70. So putting your pension right and looking for ways of growing your income and building your income is very, very important as a woman. I'll use myself as an example. When I'm in my 50s or 60s or 70s, I do not want to be a liability on anybody. Can you imagine when you're in 60s or 70s, you're still having to depend, I don't want to just say man, you're still depending on someone. No, you all want to continue to live a life of significance whereby we're not begging any man or government or family or friends for money. So it's important you get your financial plans in place. Yeah.
So true. So we've already received a lot of helpful tools and tricks. Chantal, for the person who is thinking, this feels overwhelming, or I have a bit of fear around money, how would you suggest that they shift from that mindset of feeling like they don't know what to do, maybe they're a bit paralyzed, into full confidence with their finances?
Get help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
so
good
true.
point.
So true.
We try to figure it out on our own,
Yeah.
making it even more complicated. And when you do that, well, personally for me, what it did, it led me into debt, actually, because I didn't want to ask. You know, I just thought, okay, let me do it, and I'll figure it out, and I'll know how to work around it. I've got the money to cover it, but then the debt was so deep. It comes with consequences. Definitely, not asking for help comes with consequences. And when we have money, even the little money we have, if even events like this, it's good to attend events. If you know you have support, if you know you have issues that you don't understand, even little questions, go to the bank. Start making that one step, making that effort into going to get some help. Go to the bank, ask questions, reach out to somebody, you know, and ask questions. Yeah, or maybe you say go get help, you know, and speak to people. People know how to help, and you message people on Instagram. There's a lot of us here as well that you can speak to if you need help. And don't let what gets in the way of you asking for help make you feel like you don't need it. Because a lot of times what I've also seen with help and why people don't ask for help is because what they attach to the word help. You know, it's that identity part of, oh, because I'm already a financial advisor, I can't ask for help anymore. People are going to look at me as irresponsible. I'll lose my title, I'll lose my influence, but actually you will gain influence, you will gain experience, you know, and you'll gain more clients because you've advanced yourself. So like I said, help is advancement, help is expansion. That's something we should all be comfortable reaching.
I love that, and I think it's something that's often forgotten as well, is the power of community and just saying, hey, every single person needs help, right? We do. So yeah, that's a really, really beautiful point. Thank you. And I'm jumping back, Michelle, because Oleinko, you talked about, you know, our pension pot can be so much smaller because we're balancing so many different things. So how do women balance goals with their responsibilities like family or caregiving and career breaks, etc.?
I would definitely say time management is very, very important. Time management. I'm always asked that question. How do you do so much things? You're a wife, you're a mother, you're a deacon at your church, you're a speaker, you're a mentor, you run your business. Like, how do you do all of these things? And I always say, boy, it's Holy Spirit, wisdom, right? I utilize my time wisely. It's sometimes I'm going to an event, I know I can drive, but I take the train because I can do work whilst I'm on the train. Like, we have to sit down and do that calculation, because sometimes what we do as well, when we look at it as a whole staircase, 500 steps, and we're thinking, oh my God, and the overwhelm kicks in and you start feeling that emotion of it's not possible. Instead, break those 500 steps down. What are the first ones that I can do? Okay, I need to get this done in the week. What can I get done today? How can I get... I'm going to be very honest with you. You have to be determined as well. Like, your why has to be so big enough that you don't find it so easy to sit down 2 hours on the phone chatting people's business with another person. I'm just going to keep it very real. That's how I am, right? If you're spending 2 hours with somebody chatting and at the end of it, there's nothing significant coming from that call, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing with my life? I used to work as a train driver, so Brixton is not a stranger to me. South is not a stranger. I used to work on the Victoria line. I used to drive the train from Walthamstow to Brixton. Wow. And I tell you, I used to, within that time when I decided that I wanted to start my business, because just like you, I said to myself, I don't want to be working for anybody at the age of 50. That was just my thing. That I just told myself that. And I used to get 3 hours worth of sleep. No lie. I used to leave my house at 3 a.m. in the morning, pick up my train at 4 a.m. in Northumberland Park in Tottenham, run my services till 1:30, 2 o'clock. I used to drive to my nan's because she lived near Tottenham Hotspurs, and the children's school was close to there, so I stayed there, started working on the business, or I had a client, pick the kids up from school, drive to Waltham Abbey to go sort dinner, and then it was back on my business again, sometimes until midnight, right? And I'm not saying it's the healthiest thing to do. I'm just saying that there's sometimes when you're going to have to sit down and say, life is not rolling out a red carpet for me. And because life is not rolling out a red carpet for me, the Bible says I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Look for the areas where you need help. Look for the areas where you need help. Look for the areas where you need to break things down. What are the things that I'm finding challenging? If you're realizing that, boy, when I'm in the house working, I'm getting distracted, go to a cafe. Go sit in the park. Don't just sit there and say, oh, you know, it's another day. Like, there's times when I get up and yes, I do have a duvet day. But it can't be a duvet day 7 days a week. I'm sorry. It can't be a duvet day 7 days a week. And I'm saying, okay, I want to achieve this, but then I'm not taking the steps to achieve it. Have a goal. That's what I'll definitely say. Have your goal. We all know about SMART goal, making it specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and a time frame on it. Saying that I want to achieve this one day is not a goal. One day is not on the calendar. One day is not on the calendar, right? So work towards what it is that you want to achieve. Put that goal down. When you've written that goal down, say, what are the resources and the tools that I need to have to achieve that goal? Who are the people that I need? And let's step out of our comfort zone of saying, I don't want to ask nobody for help. Stay there. God is not going to just drop it from the sky. He's going to use people. So we have to come out of this comfort zone. I don't want to ask people for help. Instead of saying I don't want to ask people for help, ask God for wisdom and discernment to go to the right people. Amen. That's what we need. So I'll continue for the whole time. So just zip me.
Ooh-wee. I mean, how long do we have this? No, I'm joking. Yeah, amazing. Just, wow. It's not very often I'm speechless. I'm quite chatty. The amount that it's been, how long has it been for already? How long have we been talking for? 20 minutes? 20 minutes.
Wow,
the amount of notes I have down here is unreal. And I still have a couple more questions left, which is really exciting. So moving down then, Olayinka, you actually have kind of answered this question a bit already in terms of protecting income. But would you say that there are any small practical things that women can do in the meantime before maybe they get those big protections in place to help protect their income, or even if they are able to do that, just with the uncertainty that we're living in at the moment?
Okay, well, I would say income protection is very affordable. It's not a big thing. It's not big at all. And for me, as a financial advisor, I always tell my clients straight away, it's what you can comfortably afford. I don't give any quote as such. So I'll use an example. I'll say, how much do you spend on takeaway a week? If they tell me £30, I say, oh, so in a month, that is, a lot of people spend more than that. Because already cake and coffee is over £5. Yeah. So I'm just being moderate. So that's £120 a month. And so I'm just going to be black and white. That food goes into your mouth and then it goes to the toilet. That is not an investment.
Depreciation.
If you can afford £120 a month just on takeaways and knickknacks, I'm sure you can comfortably afford £40 a month. That's not a week. On investing in yourself, because as I said, money is very important, and your ability to continue and earn an income is your greatest asset. Because without money, it's a tool, but we need it for so many things. It gives us more choices. So you're, in short, protecting yourself, not just your income. Because nobody knows tomorrow. We all want to continue to live a healthy and prosperous life, but things happen in the blink of an eye. And we live in a world of uncertainties. And I'll give you an example. During COVID, people had two things they were worried about: illness and also paying all their bills and all that. But if they'd had an income protection plan in place, it would have made things so much better.
Wow. Yeah, amazing. And then moving lastly to Chantal, what do you think financial security looks like for a woman in 2026?
I like a key thing I keep hearing is income protection. Can't hear you. Oh, sorry. I like a key thing I'm hearing is income protection, actually. I'm learning about it as well, but it sounds very, with how the world is going and what's going on at the moment as well, I would definitely consider to protect my income.
I would too.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
I would definitely consider protecting my income, but I'd also consider protecting my mindset.
100%.
Protecting my mindset and continuously growing my mindset, as we were speaking about help and getting help from people that can help us firstly get our financial protection, income protection, and help us to mentally also develop in confidence in terms of financial growth. So yeah, two things I'd say: invest into protecting your income, invest into protecting your health, invest into protecting pretty much everything that needs to be protected for you to sustain in moments where you can't maybe go to work or do certain things, but also invest into speaking to people, asking for help, joining communities and finance communities for mental health in general as well. And
I like what you said earlier. Sorry to cut in. You said help is expansion. I've never heard of that phrase before, so I'm actually putting it right here. Because it's true, when you ask, so many things are revealed. So, and it's also about unlearning and learning. People always think about learning, but there are a lot of things you have to unlearn. So by asking of help, it's like a sifting process. You know, you're now able to see, okay, what is aligned with your own core values and beliefs, and what you don't actually need.
Also, like the Bible says, ask and you shall be given. Ask and you shall be taken from.
It's true.
Taking it actually serious and that as you ask, you will be
given. That's it. I like that.
When we get things, God will also help us with the wisdom that we get to multiply. So it's that continuous journey in the Bible that shows us that asking
Yeah.
And just to add on that, I'm sure you all know that phrase that every disappointment is a blessing in disguise. So when you're asking and you feel you're not receiving, as we know, the Creator sees the full picture.
Picture,
Maybe that
exactly.
thing was not meant for you.
At
You
that
do not
time.
know what will have happened before. So I always tell my women clients, don't get so disappointed when you couldn't get this. And I've seen this in life, in experience that, I'll give you an example. Years ago when I was still 9 to 5, there was this job role I went for. Everything seemed perfect. I went for the interview, the salary was good and everything. But something within me just said, no, this is not where you're meant to be. And I know now why. So that's why I said, as women, in fact, this is the most important thing. Listen to your inner voice. Your inner voice is linked with above. So it's not about your brain, what you've learned in school, it's that inner voice. You can be with someone that seems perfect, but something within you says something not right. But you can't put your finger on it. So as women, please, in fact, if you take anything from this meeting, from myself, that listen to your intuition is the highest form of protection to anything else. Yeah, thank you.
So true. So thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much. We have got a bit of time for questions. If anybody has some that you'd like to ask, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, everybody, for the talk.
You're welcome.
Really, really nice. I'm making loads of notes.
Yeah, see you.
I like the idea of the income protection. I think that's a good thing to have and offers more security. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, how easily could you get that money if you needed it? Let's say if somebody lost their job tomorrow, or I don't know, had an accident, or forbid something happened.
Yeah.
How easily does that insurance company or whoever pay you, and how long would they pay you for?
Yes. So that's a very good question. Thank you for asking that. So it's when we have the advice meeting, I'll explain to you the whole process. It's very easy because at the initial stage, before I put the policy through, I'll ask you different questions. So I'm a holistic financial advisor, and it's making sure that whatever you tell me, everything is put in place so that at the time of claim, you get paid. So some of the questions I'll ask is like medical, if you have any underlying medical condition. I'll give you an example. Some might have cancer already and then take up the policy, not disclose they have the cancer. No, they won't pay the claim. But that's why I ask you questions so that everything is declared. So at point of claim, one of the proofs we will need is from your doctor, obviously, to say you've gone off sick, because then the insurance company will not just pay. They need proof to understand what is going on. And you can be off for 1 month, 5 years, heaven forbid, nobody will be off sick for 5 years, but it can be long term, and I've seen it happen to people. And let's say you, for example, your income is £2,000 a month, it pays about 1,700, 1,650 on a monthly basis till you get better. And when the doctor says, okay, or when you actually say, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go back to work, it's then it stops, and then you can claim again. You can claim as many times as you want. So it gives you peace of mind as a woman that if you do go off sick, especially if you're self-employed or you're a business owner, because you're out there vulnerable. If you're a business owner or you're a sole trader, you're not entitled to any sick pay benefits. You know, if you work 9 to 5, you still get a bit of sick pay benefits. Although sometimes after like 3 months, your company doesn't pay again. So that's where the income protection kicks in. And it's very, as a financial advisor, I go through the whole process with you. We have a meeting, and yes, it's very easy to claim. We just need the proof. Yeah.
Amazing. That's such a great question. I was gonna also ask about for a sole trader or a business owner or a
it's
freelancer.
even more important. So much. Because as a woman, you're out there vulnerable, and you are the engine of your business. So if something happens to you, how do you continue to commit to your business? So it's so important.
So true. Does he know how? Yes.
Yeah, I have the question. So with some of the women I come across, so how would you advise a woman, like how would a woman leverage themselves? So they have a partner who's probably not as supportive as they want to start a business, but they're not being supported. And at times, because as women, especially like in our community, they're trying to keep the peace in their marriages.
Yes.
So how do you advise a woman like that?
So most of my meetings are via Zoom. So if she's happy to have the meeting with me via Zoom, it will just be her.
Yeah.
If she wants her husband involved, it's fine. But I have a lot of meetings with women and their partner is not there. I tell them all their options, all the terms and conditions, most importantly, the benefits. So I'm in fact, the reviews I get from a lot of my clients, I'm a very flexible person. I'm also happy to come to the client's home if they want, or if they want to talk outside at a cafe or whatever, I'm happy to do that. So it's all about your individual protection, and everything is private and confidential because we're regulated by the FCA. So in terms of data protection, everything is. So in fact, I'm like a doctor.
Yeah.
So everything you tell me, even if your best friend comes, everything is only me. Yes.
Financial doctor.
Yes.
Financial doctor, I like that. That's great. Any more questions? While you think of one, I have one for you, Michelle. That's okay. You talked a lot about your circle and your mindset. If there is someone who is thinking, I know my circle isn't as good as it should be or could be, what advice would you give to them to expand and be bold enough to reach out to new people and cut off the ones that they have, if it's necessary?
First thing for me, and I'm talking from experience, prayer. I pray. I pray, God, anybody that's not meant to be around me, anybody that's bringing distraction to my life, anybody that is derailing me, let them exit. When I start to see people falling off, at times I'm like, oh God, what's going on? And it's like Holy Spirit will remind me, remember your prayer. Let them go. Let them go, right? That's definitely the first one for me. The second one is you need to go out. Like, you cannot remain in your house and believe that you're going to be making connections. I know that obviously during COVID we did that via Zoom. Go out, speak to people. Don't look at an event and say, oh, an event is too small to go. Like, I turn up. If somebody's saying it's 3 people, I turn up. You just need one person. You just need one good connection. And you would be surprised at the doors that opens, right? And so don't underestimate the small circle. That's what I would say. Don't underestimate the small circle. Get out there, get in touch with people, and you have to get to that point. And I believe I'm still going to share my story, right? Later, right? You will see that this confident person that is speaking in front of you, this wasn't me all along. So don't think that, oh, yeah, you understand how it goes. You're already out there. No, no, no. There was a time when I wasn't out there. There was a time I didn't want my voice to be heard. But I had to get to a point where I had to say to myself, my life is more important than being silent. And the moment that you realize that your life is more important than being silent, what is the worst that somebody can say to you? No. Okay, good. Move along. Some will, some won't. So what? I'm going to do it anyway. Right? And that is how you have to navigate. That will build your confidence, as you rightly said. Your confidence doesn't come. Don't sit and wait for, I'm going to wait until I'm confident. No, it's the more you go out there, the more you start having conversation and realizing that these people are actually normal people like me. They don't have their life all put together. The second one is, it might not even be the second one, I haven't been counting, but get rid of seeking validation. The same person you're trying to get validation from is looking for somebody else to get validation from. And that's what we don't realize. They're busy trying to get validation from somebody. The only person we need validation from is God, and He's already validated us. Right? So that's what you have to do.
So true. He literally died for us. I mean,
Yeah.
what
more validation do you want? That's how precious we are.
Literally.
Royal people, peculiar generation, like we're chosen. And the moment that we recognize that, because sometimes we're too busy watching somebody else saying, oh, that person is very this and that. Okay, what about you? Well, they didn't stop you. They didn't stop you, right? So what is it that you're holding? The day I realized that my life is more important than this small. My God is big. I think in Nigeria, I'm Jamaican, but I'm everything. I'm African, I'm everything. I'm a mixture of everything, right? Agiriba, is that the thing? It's my God is big. I think that's the term, like, my God is, right, He's large. My God is big, big, big. There's a song that I sing it when I'm ready. He's big. So if my God is big and I'm saying that I carry the DNA of my Father, how can I be playing small? It's not possible. So I used to go into rooms, see other people as elephants and myself as an ant. And then I realized, hold on, like God has taken me to some place. I remember the real eye-opener for me, and I'll try and finish quickly. I spoke at an event, 5 minutes. And whilst I was at the event, there was Sharon Lecter of the Napoleon Hill Foundation was in the room. And she went to the person that was keeping the event and said, they were going on a business retreat, and she said, this person needs to be there. I traveled to Bali, all expenses paid. I never paid a dime, a whole week. And I was amongst people. I'm looking around saying, what am I doing here? I'm not supposed to be here. These people are making millions. I remember one night, I was up until about 2 a.m. We were just in the pool at this villa. And these people are asking me questions, me. And they have millions. Me, I couldn't even tell you how much I had in my account at that time. But then I realized, like, we have to remember that greater is He that is in us. Like, the same Spirit that rose Jesus from the grave is the same Spirit that lives in us. so that we have the ability to do great things. It's just about, sometimes we have to just trust, lean back and say, okay, God, catch me. I don't know how it's going to go, but I would just lean back. And like, the same way we trust this chair to sit down.
Yeah.
I came here, I didn't check the foot of the chair. I didn't check if it's strong enough. I just sat.
Trust.
I trusted the manufacturer that made this chair that is strong. But I'm not trusting the creator of the manufacturer.
Come on.
Exactly.
How?
So
Is it not
true.
possible?
So true. You're absolutely right. It's that childlike trust. You see the videos, or you see children just jumping into adults' arms, parents' arms, whatever, and you think you just knew they would catch you.
Yeah.
But we lose that somehow along the way. And I also love what you were saying about sometimes you'll hear no. And I heard this one time where they said rejection is just redirection.
It's just redirection.
Yes.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
And if a door closed, a window will open.
Open,
And
yeah.
if the window closed, the door will
Yeah,
open.
yeah.
And it's just constantly God saying, hey, go this way, go that way. And that is okay.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the rejection. In fact, seek it out sometimes, you know, because it's scary and it will push you.
Yeah.
So yeah, amazing. Any more questions from anybody?
No. You said something. Can I just touch on that?
Of course, yeah.
Think of yourself sometime as a child going to ask your parent for a car at the age of 5. And your parent says no. Right? They're saving you, because if you go in that car, you start driving, inevitably you're going to crash and die. You have to think of yourself like that. When I'm going to my father sometimes, remembering that I'm going to my father, he knows best. He wants the best for me. And so if he has said no at this moment, he's saving me from something. And I think you said it, we don't always see the big picture.
Yeah.
So he's saving. So sometimes pretend I'm that child and I'm going to my father. So if he says no, there's a reason. So I just felt like sharing that.
Absolutely right. Thank you so much. And Shantaya, just to round us, you have a question?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a quick one. I know you've all talked about having the building blocks, saving, budgeting, income protection. What's your personal take? I'd like to hear from you about credit in this society. Like, people say, oh, it's not good to have too much like credit cards or borrow and things like that.
Yeah.
Some people are working every day to pay off their mortgages. Or there's some schools of thought that like, no, use the equity in your home to make more investments and do this. What would be your advice?
I'm going to give a brief advice because the professional is right here, and I always say stay in your lane. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'll share from my own perspective. I was born here, I left here at the age of 3, grew up in Jamaica, came back at 19. I had no clue what credit scoring anything was. I was working in Carphone Warehouse, and so I was working in a predominant area where a lot of footballers were. So they changing their phones. I was doing the same. I didn't know about my accounts, like you don't pay off your phone bill, you just, like, I was living reckless with my finances. And then the day when the time came for me to now say I wanted to go and buy a house, your credit score, what's your credit score? Right? And so I'm learning about these things. Knowledge is key, because there's ways to do things. Yes, people say, okay, yeah, you can, build your credit by using credit cards. But if you don't have the knowledge of how to use those credit cards, you've just signed yourself to debt, more debt. So I would just leave the professional to...
No, you're actually very right. She said quite a lot. Everything you said is correct. What I would say is that everybody's circumstances are different and everybody's needs are different. So when I understand what your needs are for the purpose, then I'll know to advise, okay, yes, it's good because you want to get a mortgage, it's good to start using your credit card. If it's so I need to understand your circumstances first. With everything in life, it's about balance. So even the credit card, it has its good uses, it has its negative uses. I always liken it to wood. You get wood from a tree. That wood can be used to build a chair, table, but it can also be used to create guns and stuff like that. So it's about balance, and but once I understand your circumstances, then I'll be able to give best advice.
Lovely. And if we don't have any more questions, yeah? Oh, yeah, afterwards. Yeah. Do you have one more question?
No, I just wanted to buttress on what Olayinka said, the income protection, that it's not for when you lose your job. It's very, very
beforehand.
important. Because sometimes people say, oh, what happens when I lose my job, or maybe redundant, with the income protection kick in? No, it's only specifically if you're unable to do your job. So that's the only time income protection will pay out. So we need to be very, very clear when we're talking about income protection. because a lot of the times people might just come to us as financial advisors that, oh yeah, I set up income protection, but now I don't have a job.
Right.
So it's not there for loss of job.
Got you. It's
There,
not benefits.
there is something there, like if you get redundant, but it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So I say you're better off saving than paying a whole lot of premium to a company. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So that's why I said it's about when I sit down with you and I understand your full circumstances, then I'll be able to best advise you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So true. Amazing.
Yeah.
And just to round us off, Shantaya, I'd love to hear from you, every single woman in this room, 3 steps, actionable steps that they should do as they leave to propel themselves into a better financial future.
First one actually that I really felt in this room, to be honest, was to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Genuinely believe in yourself. That's one of the biggest ones. I know that we all have different problems financially. Not even problems, but
Challenges?
yeah, different challenges as well. But I just want us all to believe that we can come out of it. The big thing I believe sometimes that gets in the way is our perspective, and get stuck in that perspective and believe that we can't grow past it.
Yeah.
You know, and take the step and believe in yourself. That's one thing. Believe in yourself. Invest into yourself. Yeah, with the money that you have, don't look at it in a scarce mindset. That's what I struggled with before I actually started investing into myself. I had so much scarcity around money. I had like, if I invest this 500 here, I can't grow. Next month I'm going to struggle. Or this month's going to be a hard month. But the minute I invested, I got opportunities.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing I said again about help being expansion.
Yeah.
So yes, invest in yourself, believe in yourself, and actually do it. You know?
Yeah, amazing. So true. That mindset of just like, no, I deserve to be financially free. Like I deserve to. God said He came to give us life and life more abundantly.
Yeah.
And so like actually reframing that mindset, like we talked about so much. This fella has been up and down all day. You can pray in your hearts that he would receive Jesus and be free. But until then, we're just going to try and tune him out and tune into the lovely conversation happening in the room. My prayer warriors and intercessors, please feel free to get started. Amazing. So many gems, so much learning. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. This has been such a fruitful 40 minutes. I could have been here all day listening to you women of gurus. I'm just going to keep using the word guru now. So we're going to take a short comfort break, around 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll continue with the wonderful, wonderful program. We're going to hear some more from these amazing speakers. So we'll take a 5-minute break. Can we please have a massive round of applause for Michelle, Olivia, and Thank you so much.